Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I just want to sit down and have a little chat basically. I'm always doing like makeup videos or challenges or something like that, but today I just want to sit down and get a little bit more serious, I guess, and talk about something that's very close to me, and that is anxiety. I know like so many people deal with it, and there's like a billion different ways to deal with it, but I just want to share what I get and how I cope with my anxiety and how I cope. I say cope, try to cope, and just what helps me basically. They're just little small things that might help you, and if you get anxiety and you don't know what to do, these might help. They may not, but it's worth a go. So if you're interested in knowing more and you want to carry on watching, then please do and enjoy the video. So I'm going to start off with basically what causes it, and it can literally be anything or nothing, I think. I mean, I'm not like, an expert, I have no idea. I've just suffered with it, so I've learned things along the way basically. But I feel like for me personally, it's been like some things that's happened in my life which aren't that great. They kind of just creep back up on you. Well, for me anyway, I could be like very stressed in that situation, but then maybe a few months later when everything's calmed down and I'm fine and I'm finally happy, settled down, that's when it will all creep up back on me, and then I'll start getting panic attacks and anxiety attacks. And it's so strange because sometimes you're like, people around you don't understand, so they'll say like, well, what's causing it? There's nothing that's causing it, it's just happening. But people who don't have anxiety sometimes don't understand that, which is very frustrating for us as well, because when you're trying to explain that it's nothing, it just doesn't go through to some people. Some people understand, some people don't, and that's understandable, because before I suffered with it a long time ago, I didn't understand it either, and I was just like, why can't you get on the bus? Why can't you go outside of your house? Like, I don't understand, which is fine, because why would you if you don't get it? So I would say probably like kind of trauma, we'll call it. Stress causes it a lot, and I would say like going new places as well. This is just for me. There's so many other things that can cause it, of course, but for me, like when I go on holiday or go to a new place or something, that is very scary for me, and I get anxiety then as well. But I already know it's coming, so I'm kind of prepared for that already. So personally, I go counselling, and I also used to take medication when it was a lot worse, but I don't anymore. It started probably about 4 years ago. I was getting it, and it was really, really bad, to the point, because I first got it, I didn't know what was going on. I actually got rushed to hospital at my dance class. It may have been even 5 years ago, to be honest. It might have been longer than that. But I was at a dance class, and I couldn't breathe, and that's when they took me to the hospital. Then they said, oh, you're just suffering with anxiety. And then from then, I basically, I'm 23 now, so when I was 19, I had a miscarriage as well. When I found out at my 3-month scan, which I haven't said anywhere, but I feel comfortable to say it in this video because it's much easier to talk about now, rather than before. But yeah, so that happened, and that caused a lot of stress for me. So for probably about 6 months after that, I just got in a bit of a state. I was a carer for people with severe disabilities, so I looked after people with Down syndrome and autism and stuff like that. So that was not very helpful for me, being in that job while I was in my position, because I was getting anxiety worse and worse, and that job was just not helping me. So me looking after people when I couldn't look after myself a lot of the time was very difficult. So when I would stay over that house on my own, sometimes I'd be having anxiety attacks, and anything could happen to them at any time, and I need to be fully prepared for them, not for me, basically. So it got so bad that I ended up having to leave my job, and it was only about 5 days. Then my uncle took me on in his office, which was very good, because I don't know what I would have done, and I started like part-time, so I slowly went into the job rather than just going in full-time. So I was working like every other day, like half days, then it started getting to full days every other day, and then it started being full-time, and I was fine then. But in that time, I also struggled to leave the house. I struggled to basically do most things that normal people can do. Getting on buses. I have been driving for like 6 years, I think, but I didn't have a car for a long time. So I was living with my ex at the time, by the way, this was with my ex. But I didn't have a car at the time, so I couldn't get on buses. I could barely leave the house because I'd just freak out and then I'd be a mess. And then I'd just be like, it's easier for me to just stay at home. So I got in that rut for a long time, probably about 6 months, where I was working on and off at my uncle's company, and I was just, yeah, not doing very well. That's when I went on medication. I went on propranolol, which is like a beta blocker, and I went on 40 milligrams twice a day. I think that was the highest dosage you can have in that. Whatever that was at the time, I can't remember. I think it was 40 milligrams twice a day, I can't remember. But I was taking that anyway, and I was going counselling every week, which was, you know, £50 a session because I went to private counselling. I tried anxiety management for free on the NHS, and I tried a couple of counselling sessions, but it just wasn't working for me. So I went to a private counsellor who's £50 an hour. I still go to the same person now, and just not as often, just when I kind of need to. But yeah, so I was going every week to this bloke, and he was really, really helpful. He was giving me lots of tips, homework, and I was going every week. I think, yeah, it was every week, and then I started going every other week, and then I started going monthly. But that was within about a year doing that. But as you can imagine, if I'm working not full time and I'm paying £50 an hour, then it's ending up being so expensive. But it's worth it in the end because it's your own health, so that's priority over anything really. But yeah, so that's how I kind of got it, and that since that time, me and my ex then split up, and I was living on my own. I had my cat, and it was just me and my cat living at home, and it was kind of better for me. I don't know why, but I was much better in myself. I think I relied on him too much, and it was not the best. You know, it wasn't great. So yeah, so I think it was better for me when I was on my own. Then I was becoming more independent. Then I had to go on buses to get to work, and I had to go out to get my own food shopping. So I forced myself out, and that really helped me because then I had no choice but to go out and do these things, and that really helped me in the long run. Even though I struggled sometimes, and then sometimes I'd get on the bus, then I'd have to get off the bus and go back home. But I still tried, and I got out of the house. So that's like what matters really. How I feel when I have anxiety, basically, there's different like levels. So sometimes, which is what I get often now, it's just like my heart beats really quick, I get hot, and then I'm like cold, and then I just start panicking. And then from that panicking stage, I can go one way or another. I can either start calming down and kind of doing my breathing exercises, which I'll talk about in a minute. I'll talk about in a minute what helps me, but this is just how I feel when I get it. So yeah, I try and do my breathing exercise and different things to help me, but sometimes if I get in too much of a panic, it can go the other way and it can get really bad. So for example, when me and my boyfriend, my current boyfriend, went on holiday in October, so like a year ago now, we went on holiday, and I was fine. We went to, we were going to go to like this Turkish evening at a restaurant, and we were on our way, and I just started having anxiety in the middle of the road. And it got really, really bad, and then I ended up, well, obviously my heart started beating, then I was getting really panicky, and because I was panicking more, and I was thinking I can't go home, that home's like my safe place, so I can't go home, I can't even go in my car. I've got a car now, I can't even go in my car, you know, I don't know what to do, I haven't got anywhere to go. We could go back to the hotel, but it's ages away, and I'm in a random place, I've never been here before. I'd never been on holiday without my parents before. This was like the first time, so it was a massive like deal for me. And then my end thing is crying. For me, it just, I don't know why, and I don't know if other people have this either, but for me, crying just helps. By the end, I don't know what else to do. I'm fighting it so much that I don't know what else to do, and so I cry, and it feels like it's coming. I'm like letting it go. It sounds silly, but that's how it feels. So if that helps me, then that helps me, and if that helps you, just cry, it doesn't matter. But it was a bit embarrassing when I was in the middle of the street in a random country crying my eyes out, and my boyfriend had never witnessed me doing anything like this before, so he had no idea what to do, and he was like, well, just calm down, like, we'll go to the hotel, we'll go to the restaurant, we'll just see how you're feeling. And I was like, no, I can't, I cannot do that. And then after that, we went to the hotel, chilled out, and it was fine there. We played some cards, listened to some music, and it was a really nice evening in the end. But at that time, it was just, I felt like I was ruining the holiday, and your thoughts going through your head at that moment as well, it's very difficult, because at that time I was thinking, I'm ruining the holiday, he's not going to want to go on holiday with me again. Why would he want to be with someone who does all this, like, who makes a scene in the middle of the street, who's crying like this when she doesn't even have a reason. Like, all of that just was going through my head, and I was just so upset that, like, this is what he could be thinking. He wasn't thinking any of that, but, you know, this is what he could be thinking. And then I sound stupid for saying that to him. What if you don't want to go on holiday with me again? He'd be like, what? You know, so, but in your head at the time, you know, it's much harder. You can't explain it. You sound very dramatic, basically, but that's what's going on in your head, and you can't help that. You know, hopefully if you have anxiety and you're watching this might help a little bit if I can tell you some things in a minute that I do to help me. But if you don't have anxiety, maybe this will just help you to understand it a little bit better, because I never understood it before. But yeah, so I don't take medication anymore. I used to. Maybe like a year ago, I went back on it, and I just did 10 milligrams whenever I felt like I needed it. But I tried to stay away from it because, you know, they tried getting me on antidepressants as well, and I took one and I had a bit of a reaction, and since then it put me off. But also, you know, I try and stay away from that. I want to try and naturally make myself better without having to rely on tablets. But if you have to take them, that is completely fine as well. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, because you never know, I might need to take them again in the future if it just gets worse again. Because sometimes, like last month, in this like lockdown period, last month I got so bad, I had an absolute mental breakdown at one point, and it was going on for about a week. I was crying all day, every day. I was having headaches, I was feeling sick, I felt horrible. But that's just part of it, and I then, at the end of that, thought I just need some time to myself to relax and do these coping mechanisms for me, and it worked, and now I'm feeling much better in myself again. So let me tell you how I solve them, or what helps me, because this is the main thing that you may be here for if you suffer with anxiety. So some of them are really silly, some of them you might think, what, but it helps for me, so you shouldn't be judgmental. But my first one is counselling. It definitely helped me, counselling. People said it and I was like, no, it's not going to help, I'm just talking to someone. But it isn't just that. I go private counselling, so it's catered to you. So he knows me well now because I've been to a few sessions. They get to know you, they remember everything about you, they focus on you particularly. He prints me out homework every time, which sounds silly, but it's all different breathing exercises, different exercises to help me. Different, so he does like a sheet of like three positive things that have happened to me in a day, and different things like that, just so that my mind is focused on the positive rather than the negative, and the good things in my life rather than the bad things that have ever happened. And if you can't afford counselling, or you haven't got access for counselling for whatever reason, or you don't want to go, just speak to somebody, maybe your partner, maybe your parents, a family member, a friend, anybody. Just get it out, because honestly, whatever's on your mind, if you get it out, you'll feel so much better. You may not think so, but try it, because it might. That definitely happens for me. If I'm like mad at my boyfriend for not putting the dishes away, something stupid, I could be mad for hours about that, but if I get it out, it's gone. He understands, he says sorry, over. You know, it's so much easier. So another thing that I think helps me the most is de-stressing. I always get stressed about things, especially money and little things like that. Not uploading videos on time. What if I haven't got time to film videos? What if I haven't done enough makeup looks in a week? What if, you know, I work full time as well? How am I meant to fit it all into one? Just de-stressing definitely helps. And so for me, how I de-stress would be focus on myself, so a bit of self-care. So what I like to do is I would just have in my head that tonight I'm relaxing, so I'll have a hot bath with bubbles and I'll watch some YouTube videos in the bath, or I'll just listen to some acoustic music on Spotify. I put on some candles, I'll come out the bath, or I don't need to have a bath sometimes. I'll come into my room, my makeup room, and I'll just have a little pamper session. So I'll do some skincare, which always makes me feel better. I'll put on a face mask, I'll pluck my eyebrows, I'll paint my nails, I'll wax my mustache, whatever makes me feel better at the time. Pampering yourself, doing a bit of fake tan, pampering yourself makes you just feel a bit better in yourself already. Put on a little Disney movie, do some colouring, do something like that. Watch a YouTube video to distract me. If I'm out and about and I get anxiety, I'll probably watch a video somewhere on my phone somewhere, you know, just sit down, take 5 minutes. I'll speak to if I'm like out with my boyfriend or something, he will just speak to me. He'll do some exercises that I'll tell you about now, but he'll just speak to me, do some exercises with me, try and help me just calm down. And occupy your mind is a massive thing for me. So if you're sat there and you're panicking and you're in a shop, you're shopping or something, just think of the positives, like what you're going to get, what you're in here for. Look around, watch other people, focus on something else that is not your anxiety so that it helps you. Something that my counsellor told me the other day actually was, don't call it a panic attack, even though if you are, call it an anxiety attack, because anxiety attack sounds so much nicer, not nicer, so much less severe than a panic attack. Because when you say you're having a panic attack, you know, that is when you're really not breathing and you cannot breathe. You feel like you're going to die basically. That's like a panic attack. An anxiety attack is just like a little panic where you're like, can't breathe here, but you know, you can get over it kind of thing. So I mix between the two. I get a bit of both, which is how lucky of me. But so that's one thing, is de-stress and a bit of a pamper. Candles around you, making it smell nice, aromatherapy, all of that. Do some self-care and it helps a lot. I promise you, after a night of that, I feel so much better. I go into bed, I'm all lotioned up all over my body, I feel great, and I'm like, now I am in my zone, I feel better, and you just feel better about yourself. And if you're a bloke, do the same. It doesn't mean just girls can do that. Have some time for yourself. Sit down, watch your favourite YouTuber, watch your favourite film. Focus on something to do with you and not everything else going on around you. So some of the breathing exercises that I do, I'll just give you like 2 for the minute, just because my counsellor gave me like 2 pages full of breathing exercises that I can do, but I'll give you 2 of them for now. And if this video you know, is helpful, please let me know in the comments so that I can do more on this, because I would like to do more on this and help others, just because I haven't found many videos out there on anxiety. I just want to try and help anybody who has this and just struggles with it, because it is actually so hard to struggle with it. But yeah, if you want to see more videos like this, I'm not done by the way. I'm just saying, if you want to see more videos like this, please let me know in the comments so that I can do more anxiety videos, and I can do maybe one on just breathing exercises that I do, and one on just like a pamper night so that you can see what I do and stuff like that. The breathing exercises. So my main one is called, my counsellor calls it 7-11. So you breathe in for 7 and you breathe out for 11. Now it's very hard, so you can start with lower numbers if you want, so it doesn't have to be 7, 11, it could be like 3 and 9 or something, could be like 4 and 9 or something like that. But if you breathe in through your nose for 7 and breathe out for 11, that helps me, because one of my main things that I get when I have a panic attack or an anxiety attack is dizziness. I always feel like I'm going to faint, and I think that's because I fainted once and it like traumatized me. It was a horrible experience, and you know, I had all nurses above me and stuff when I woke up, and it was horrible. So I think that's what I get scared of every time I get anxiety, and so I'm always scared that I'm going to faint. And I say that every time. I'm like, I'm dizzy, I'm gonna faint. This is when I do my breathing exercises, because when you breathe in, you're meant to breathe out more than what you're breathing in, so you don't get dizzy, because you're breathing in too much oxygen else and it's making you dizzy. So you need to breathe out more. So it's hard, it takes a lot of practice to get that breathing, and my counsellor said that and I thought, well, it's just breathing, but it does actually take a bit of practice to get to this 7-11, because it is hard to just breathe in for 7 and out for 11. It's a long time to be breathing out comfortably, but once you practice and practice, and he just said make sure you do it like 5 minutes a day and just get that time in to do it. Even if you're at traffic lights, you can do it anywhere. So that's one of the breathing exercises that I do. And the other one, it's not necessarily a breathing exercise, it's more of an exercise just to occupy my mind. And this is what me and my partner do if we're out. If I'm having anxiety while we're outside the house, this is something that I do. So he'll say something like, tell me 5 things that you can see, and then 4 things that you can hear, 3 things that you can smell, 2 things that you can touch, 1 thing that you can, I don't know, 1 yellow thing, anything like that. He said, like, we were in the car park the other day, we were having a day out, and I started getting a bit panicky because that was when I was having my little moment, and it was like my first day back out. So he said, like, we were walking through the car park, and he said, show me 5 yellow cars, and he's saying, show me 5 number plates with an A in it, and stuff like that, you know. So it's just the little things that other people can do to help you, because sometimes when you're in that state of mind, you don't think about things to help you, you're just thinking about panicking. And that's true, that when you're having anxiety, when you're in panic stage, you're not thinking about how to help yourself, because you cannot mentally think of that when you're panicking. It's 2 opposites, and it's very hard to do that. So if someone's next to you, maybe if you live with your parents, maybe tell your parents or something like that, so they can help you and they can just push you along and just help you in situations that you struggle to help yourself, basically. So that's like my main things. Another thing that kind of helps is hot drinks. So it's weird because caffeine isn't that great for anxiety because it races the heart and stuff, but for me, if I just have a hot drink and just relax, kind of like what I said when I'm just chilling, I have a hot chocolate or a cup of tea, it just relaxes me. It feels like all the heat's going down and it's like killing it off. It sounds ridiculous, but it helps. So another thing is comfort. So you'll see me a lot of the time in hoodies, not sweatshirts, actual hoodies with the hood, because I like to tuck myself into it, or a scarf. I've got this big scarf that I wrap right around my like face when I go out sometimes. If I'm having anxiety, I know I can like have that around me. A lot of the time I will carry around like a hot water bottle with me around the house. It doesn't necessarily even need to be warm, it's just comfort to hold something. And you'll notice if you ever come to my house, which most of you probably won't, don't know why I said that, but in my house you will see that if I'm ever on the sofa, I will always have a blanket over me as comfort. I actually have an anxiety helping like blanket, which is a really heavy weighted blanket, and it's so heavy I can barely pick it up, but it doesn't feel that heavy when it's on you. It doesn't like stop you breathing, but it's meant to help people with autism, anxiety, mental health, things like that. So definitely look into that. They're a bit more expensive. My boyfriend bought me mine for Christmas, but definitely look into that because they are very good and very helpful. I try not to use mine unless I'm really struggling with my anxiety, because then I will get the benefits of it. If I use it all the time, I won't really get the benefits because I'll be getting used to it. But yeah, so that's another one. Another one is basically I always carry around water. I feel like water just helps me. I've heard a lot of people say this before, that just having water really helps. I don't know what it is, but it just helps. And I always carry around a water bottle, so I have this one. This is new and I really like it, but this one, and it's quite big, so it fits quite a lot of water in, and I just try and keep it filled up and keep on top of drinking water just because it helps. A couple other things. One is there's an app called Headspace. This isn't like a sponsor or anything, but there's an app called Headspace which has helped me. It's probably the only one that's really helped. It's got like meditation and stuff, so there's a voice talking to you, and there's so many categories. You have like a free section, so there's some that you can listen to for free, the rest you do have to pay for. I haven't actually paid for mine, so I just use it as and when I need to. I delete the app and then I just reinstall it when I'm having anxiety and I need it, basically. But it's really helpful. It's got like somebody speaking to you, and they're basically just telling you what to do, so like lay down, relax, and it's just like basically meditation, but it really helps you. And there's different categories, so there's like driving lessons, there's on the plane, anxiety attacks, stuff like that. So there's different categories for different things. You'd be amazed how many categories there really are. But yeah, that's definitely worth a go. And my last thing I would probably say is, if you're feeling really rubbish, an easy thing to do is to shove your hair up, wear no makeup, and wear tracksuits and just slob around basically, because that's what you're comfortable in and that's how you feel happy. But it's actually not helping you at all, and this is what one of the first things my counsellor told me. And since then, honestly, the first day I went to him, I looked a mess, and after that I didn't do it again, and it really helped, because he just said, like, do your makeup, do your hair, like get dressed. You will feel better about yourself, and automatically you will start feeling better, because just like the self-care, I guess, and the pampering, you feeling better in yourself makes you feel better. If you go to the shop and you feel like a slob, you're going to act like it. But if you're dressed and you feel like you look a bit nicer, I'm not saying you have to love yourself and be like, I'm amazing, even though you can if you want, but I'm no way like that. So if I just feel a bit better, like, you know, this is me doing my hair, look at, it's all coming out everywhere, but I feel better because it's not shoved up in a bun. So anything helps. You know, I'm dressed. I've been wearing pyjamas every day, so I'm dressed. This is surprisingly not pyjamas. And I've got makeup on. So, you know, you don't have to wear it every day, and you don't need to do that every day, but just now and again, if you can force yourself to do it, you will feel better in the long run. That's like everything I've got to say today, I think. I would like to do another video like this, so please let me know if you enjoy them, because I have so much more that I could say, but I think I'll just leave it at that for now. And hopefully this video will help some people. If not, that's fine, but I've tried. And you know, it's good for me to get all my feelings too, so have them. But yeah, and if, like I said about speaking to people and going to counselling, if you haven't got anybody, that's absolutely fine. You can message me. My Instagram's in the description down below. This is no way me trying to advertise my Instagram, by the way. I'm literally just saying, if you want to talk to somebody, you can come and DM me. I'm just saying, you know, if you want to talk to somebody and you haven't got anybody, or you want to talk to somebody who doesn't know anything about you, like me, I may not know anything about you and you might just want to rant, I am not going to judge you, because I completely understand, and I've had people do it before. I put some anxiety stuff on my story on Instagram for the first time the other day, and I had such a good response. It's the best response I've had to anything that I've posted. You know, so many people were messaging me saying, it's so nice that you said about this, you know, it's nice to see somebody open up about anxiety, it's nice to know that you've got it too. And so I thought, why don't I do a video? And that's what kind of inspired me, is that why don't I do a video? So if people are appreciating it on my Instagram, then maybe you'll appreciate it on YouTube. And for those people, they can watch a longer video and learn a little bit more about me, and also what could possibly help you. But yeah, I'm waffling on now. So if you do need somebody to message, honestly, message me on Instagram. If you don't have Instagram, comment down below and we'll have a discussion. We can have a discussion in the comments, if you don't mind it being not private, or if you want to private message me, put it down below. Try and help you in whatever way possible. I've got Twitter, I've got Snapchat, I've got all these different social media platforms, so I'm sure there's a way I can help you in some way. But yeah, that's all for now. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it was helpful in some sort of way, and I shall see you in my next one.